Most people live at the mercy of their emotions. They react to every insult, every setback, every piece of bad news with panic, frustration, or anger. Their moods rise and fall with every change in the weather or word from another person. But the ones who truly lead, the ones who remain steady, successful, and unshaken, are those who have trained their minds to remain calm in the middle of the storm. A trained mind does not chase every thought. It does not surrender to anxiety. It watches. It observes. It waits. It responds, not reacts. This is not weakness. This is power. It's not passivity. It's precision. In a noisy world that constantly demands your attention, the calmest mind holds the greatest strength. Because when you are calm, you can see clearly. You can think strategically. You can act intentionally. History is full of individuals who demonstrated extraordinary mental composure. Thomas Edison, after losing years of work in a fire, didn't collapse in grief. He looked upon the ruins and said, "There is great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burned up. Thank God we can start anew." That statement didn't come from someone who avoided hardship. It came from a man who mastered his mind through hardship. And through that mastery, he built one of the most impactful legacies in history. Mental mastery isn't about denying pain, pretending things are perfect, or pushing emotions away. It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose your thoughts, no matter what's happening around you. Your circumstances do not define your mindset. Your mindset defines how you experience your circumstances. This power lies in every person, but it must be developed. It must be trained like a muscle. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you choose composure over chaos, you are strengthening that muscle. Over time, calmness becomes your default, not your exception. Mental mastery allows you to find opportunity in adversity. It turns setbacks into setups for comebacks. It lets you walk through storms with your eyes open and your heart steady. In a world that runs on fear, speed, and noise, the one who can remain calm, focused, and present becomes unstoppable. Ask yourself, when the pressure rises, will you become the storm or the eye within it? The world is loud. People will provoke you. Situations will try to shake you. But if your mind is disciplined, you will not flinch. You will not fold. You will lead yourself and others with quiet, confident strength. Train your mind, rule your world. Because the greatest weapon you will ever carry is the ability to stay calm when others lose control. That is the essence of true power, and it begins in your thoughts. In moments of stress, confusion, or emotional overwhelm, the mind tends to scatter. It jumps from fear to frustration, replaying worst-case scenarios, reacting impulsively to every threat, real or imagined. But in those very moments, you have access to one of the most powerful tools for restoring calm: controlled attention. The ability to direct your focus intentionally is the first and most immediate step in transforming chaos into clarity. Your attention is the gateway to your emotional state. Wherever your attention goes, your energy follows. If you focus on what's outside of your control, you feed anxiety. But if you focus on what is within your control, even if it's only your breath or your next small step, you begin to reclaim your composure. Controlled attention is not about ignoring problems, it's about focusing on solutions. This practice begins with awareness. When you feel emotional tension rising, stop. Take a deep breath. This interrupts the autopilot pattern of negative thinking and brings your awareness back into the present. The breath becomes a bridge, a pathway out of mental noise and into grounded presence. Inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly triggers a physiological response that calms the nervous system and clears the fog from your thoughts. Once your breathing steadies, ask yourself a powerful question. What is one constructive action I can take right now? Not 5 things, not the entire solution. Just one step. This question narrows your focus from the chaos of possibilities to a single point of clarity. That one action might be sending a message, writing a thought down, drinking a glass of water, or simply standing up and changing your physical position. The specific action matters less than the shift it creates, from emotional reaction to purposeful response. This is the principle of controlled attention. You do not have to control the world. You only have to control where you place your focus. And by doing so, you regain power over how you experience each moment. History offers powerful examples of this principle in action. President Calvin Coolidge, known for his steady demeanor, once said, "If you see 10 troubles coming down the road, you can be sure that 9 will run into the ditch before they reach you." He understood the importance of focusing only on what matters now, not on imagined disasters that may never arrive. His attention wasn't scattered across hypothetical problems. It was centered on present action. This mindset is not natural to most people. It must be practiced. But like any habit, it becomes easier with repetition. Each time you take a moment to breathe, refocus, and take a small step forward, you train your brain to default to calm rather than panic. You strengthen the part of your mind that chooses action over anxiety. Controlled attention is a daily discipline. It's not just for crisis moments. You can practice it in everyday situations, when stuck in traffic, during disagreements, or when faced with unexpected news. The more often you engage this practice, the faster it becomes your reflex under pressure. Remember, your mind cannot hold two dominant thoughts at once. You cannot simultaneously focus on fear and forward motion. When you choose to focus on what you can do, you begin to silence what you can't control. In that space, calm returns. And from that calm, confidence rises. Emotional strength doesn't appear in a single moment of inspiration. It is built, brick by brick, day after day. Like a fortress, it must be constructed with care, discipline, and intention. It cannot be rushed. It cannot be borrowed. And it will not hold during life's storms unless it has been reinforced during peaceful times. Emotional fortitude is one of the most valuable qualities a person can possess, and one of the most overlooked when life is going well. When life feels calm, it's tempting to relax your guard, to coast, to assume everything will stay balanced. But the wise understand that these moments of peace are when the real work of emotional preparation begins. Just as you don't build a fortress in the middle of a battle, you don't build resilience in the middle of crisis. You prepare in advance, and that preparation begins in your thoughts. Every day you are shaping the structure of your inner world through what you allow into your mind. Each time you choose a perspective of strength instead of fear, you lay a stone. Each moment you respond with gratitude instead of frustration, you reinforce your walls. Each time you recall your deeper purpose when tempted to drift, you strengthen your foundation. These small choices may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they form an emotional fortress that nothing outside of you can shake. Gratitude is one of the most powerful building blocks of this fortress. It shifts your focus away from scarcity and towards sufficiency. It reminds you that even when life feels unstable, you still have agency. You still have something to build on. Practicing gratitude doesn't mean ignoring difficulties. It means choosing to see what remains possible, even in the face of hardship. It strengthens your spirit by reminding you that you are more than your circumstances. Purpose is the anchor. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, setbacks don't stop you. They redirect you. When you're anchored in something greater than convenience or comfort, you can weather temporary discomfort. Purpose is what keeps you grounded when the winds of uncertainty blow. It's what gives your life direction when everything around you feels out of control. Historical figures like Helen Keller, who overcame profound physical limitations to become a global voice for courage and dignity, didn't build their emotional strength in one heroic act. It was built through thousands of small, intentional choices, focusing on what could be done instead of what was missing. She built her fortress with discipline, perspective, and purpose. You can do the same. Begin by noticing your thoughts. Replace destructive patterns with empowering ones. Create daily rituals that feed your inner life: journaling, prayer, meditation, quiet reflection. Choose what you read, watch, and discuss, with the same care, you choose the food you eat. These inputs become the materials of your fortress, because when the day comes that you're tested, and it always does, it's not motivation or emotion that will carry you. It will be the structure you've built, a fortress of purpose, a foundation of gratitude, a discipline of conscious thought. That is what emotional fortitude is made of. And it begins today, with the thoughts you choose to think. No one reaches lasting strength alone. While personal discipline and mental mastery are vital, one of the most overlooked sources of emotional resilience is the presence of intentional, supportive relationships. A carefully chosen circle, what Napoleon Hill called a mastermind alliance, can dramatically accelerate your growth, fortify your composure, and carry you through the storms that life inevitably brings. The truth is, we become like the people we spend time with. If you surround yourself with individuals who panic under pressure, who fuel negativity, or who retreat at the first sign of resistance, that mindset seeps into your own. But when you align yourself with thoughtful, grounded, purpose-driven people, you gain more than camaraderie. You gain stability, clarity, and strength. A mastermind alliance is not a casual group of friends. It is an intentional partnership with those who are also committed to emotional discipline, mental clarity, and consistent self-improvement. This alliance provides something invaluable during life's challenges: perspective. When your emotions cloud your judgment, your alliance offers clear vision. When your energy wanes, they remind you of your purpose. When doubt creeps in, they reflect back your strengths. History proves the power of this model. Henry Ford, despite his limited formal education, surrounded himself with brilliant minds, thinkers and inventors like Thomas Edison and Harvey Firestone. These relationships didn't just help him survive tough times, they helped him innovate and thrive. His vision was sharpened through dialogue. His resolve was reinforced through shared purpose. That is the strength of a mastermind. It multiplies your resilience through unity of vision and trust. To build your own alliance, start with intention. Identify 2 or 3 individuals whose values align with yours, who show consistent emotional maturity, and who are also seeking growth. These people don't have to be in the same profession or stage of life. In fact, diversity in experience can strengthen the group's insight. What matters is shared commitment to honesty, encouragement, and constructive challenge. Structure your interactions. Meet weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, whatever is realistic. Use the time to share updates, ask tough questions, offer feedback, and track progress. These conversations should balance empathy and accountability. They should provide a safe space to be vulnerable without judgment, and a strong container to be held to a higher standard. And don't underestimate the impact of simply being seen. Life can feel isolating, especially when you're striving for something greater. But when someone looks you in the eye and says, "I see how hard you're working. I believe in what you're building," that kind of support has the power to reignite your fire. It's not just motivation, it's validation that you're not alone. Great strength is not about appearing independent, it's about being interdependent. Resilient people are not emotionally isolated. They're emotionally connected in healthy ways. They give and receive support with equal grace. They share their wins and their struggles without shame. And in doing so, they grow stronger together. So if you truly want to cultivate unshakable inner strength, don't go it alone. Build your alliance. Nurture relationships that help you stay grounded when things get tough. Your inner circle should not just reflect who you are now, but who you are becoming. Choose them wisely, and watch your resilience multiply. The most important conversations you will ever have aren't with others. They're with yourself. Every day, in every situation, your inner voice is shaping how you see the world, how you feel, and what you believe is possible. This internal dialogue, or self-talk, quietly determines the quality of your experiences far more than the events themselves. And here's the truth. If you change your self-talk, you change your life. Self-talk is not some abstract concept. It's a real-time, continuous stream of thought that either builds you up or breaks you down. When left unchecked, it becomes a habit that often reinforces fear, doubt, and limitation. But when guided with intention, it becomes a powerful tool for self-mastery, emotional regulation, and long-term success. Consider the moments when things go wrong. A plan falls apart, someone criticizes you, or an unexpected challenge appears. What's the first thing you say to yourself? If your inner voice says, "I'm such a failure," or "I can't handle this," your brain begins to believe it. That belief triggers stress, undermines your confidence, and colors your entire response. Now flip that scenario. What if, in the same situation, you said, "This is hard, but I've been through worse," or "I don't have the answer yet, but I'll figure it out"? That subtle shift in language changes everything. Your body relaxes, your mind clears. You start looking for solutions instead of spiraling into self-doubt. That's the power of self-talk. It frames your reality. The subconscious mind accepts repeated thoughts as truth. It doesn't distinguish between helpful and harmful. That means whatever you say to yourself consistently becomes your mental programming. The question isn't whether you're being programmed. It's how you're being programmed, and by whom. If you're not consciously shaping that dialogue, you're likely replaying old tapes, voices of past criticism, failure, or fear. The good news? You can interrupt and rewrite those scripts. You can create new neural pathways by practicing intentional, empowering language. This isn't about blind positivity or ignoring real problems. It's about choosing words that move you towards strength, not surrender. Instead of saying, "I'm overwhelmed," say, "I'm in the process of learning how to manage this." Instead of, "I always mess this up," say, "I'm improving every day." Theodore Roosevelt, once a sickly child, transformed himself into one of the most resilient and energetic leaders in American history. How? By reshaping the narrative he told himself. He affirmed his power long before others recognized it. His story is a reminder that the words you feed your mind become the story you live. To begin transforming your self-talk, start with awareness. Pay attention to your inner voice throughout the day, especially in moments of stress. Write down recurring phrases and ask yourself, would I say this to someone I love? If not, it doesn't belong in your mind either. Replace it with something constructive, honest, and empowering. Make this a daily discipline. Speak to yourself with intention every morning. Use affirmations that reflect who you want to become. Over time, these small adjustments rewire your thought patterns and redefine your emotional responses. When you master your self-talk, you no longer react based on fear or habit. You respond based on clarity and confidence. That's how you reclaim your power, not by controlling the world, but by controlling the voice within. Change your words, and you'll reshape your world from the inside out. In life, challenges will come. Conflict, criticism, stress, and unexpected disruptions. And in those critical moments, the way you respond can shape not only the outcome of the situation, but the direction of your life. Most people react without thinking, letting their emotions drive impulsive words or decisions. But those who lead themselves well understand a deeper truth. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies your power, and in that power lies your freedom. That space, the pause between what happens and how you respond, is where personal transformation begins. Choosing to pause rather than react is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the act of reclaiming control from the part of your brain that wants to defend, attack, or run. This moment of pause allows your higher reasoning to step in and ask the essential question: what action aligns with who I want to be? This is the foundation of emotional intelligence and maturity, and it's a skill anyone can build. Science tells us that our brains are wired for fast, emotional reactions. It's part of our survival programming. The amygdala, our brain's fear center, detects threats and triggers fight or flight responses before the rational brain has time to weigh the situation. That might have helped us avoid danger in the wild, but in modern life, this wiring often creates more harm than help. It leads to saying things we regret, making poor decisions, or escalating situations unnecessarily. Fortunately, we can retrain our brain. We can expand the space between stimulus and response through practice. Each time you catch yourself about to react impulsively and instead choose to pause, even just for 5 seconds, you're reshaping your mental circuitry. That pause becomes your new power move. One of history's great examples is Abraham Lincoln. During times of anger or disappointment, he would often write hot letters, strongly worded responses to those who had failed or offended him. But instead of sending them, he placed them in a drawer. This habit allowed him to express the emotion without consequences and later respond with calm clarity. He understood that how you respond often matters more than what you say. You can practice the same principle. When something triggers you, whether it's a rude comment, a traffic delay, or an unexpected problem, stop, take a breath, count to 10. In that time, ask yourself, will my immediate reaction move me closer to the result I want? If the answer is no, choose a response that reflects thought, not impulse. This shift from reaction to response may seem small, but it carries enormous power. It protects your peace, it preserves your integrity, and it turns emotional chaos into purposeful action. Leaders, whether in families, communities, or organizations, are defined by this ability. They don't just manage their emotions, they lead them. Start practicing in low-stakes moments. Pause before replying to a frustrating email. Take a breath before correcting someone. Reflect before reacting to stress. Over time, you'll notice a greater sense of calm, clarity, and confidence emerging. You won't feel hijacked by every circumstance. You'll feel centered in who you are and how you choose to live. Because in the end, greatness is not about never feeling triggered. It's about responding with strength when you do. Master the pause, and you master your power. True mental resilience isn't built by thought alone. It is built through the daily habits that nourish and strengthen both mind and body. Sleep, movement, and nutrition, the essentials of physical health, play a critical, often underestimated role in maintaining emotional regulation and mental clarity. A resilient mind rests on the solid foundation of a strong, well cared for body. Start with sleep. Quality sleep is not a luxury. It is a necessity for a calm mind. Without 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep, even the strongest willed person can find themselves emotionally frayed. Lack of sleep weakens impulse control, amplifies stress, and distorts perception. Small problems begin to seem overwhelming. Minor irritations trigger outsized reactions. In contrast, a well-rested mind is more patient, more creative, and better equipped to maintain composure under pressure. Sleep replenishes your emotional reserves, sharpening your ability to think clearly and respond thoughtfully. Next is movement. Physical activity does far more than maintain strength or manage weight. It directly impacts emotional stability. Exercise releases endorphins, the body's natural mood elevators, while simultaneously lowering levels of stress hormones like cortisol. Regular movement also strengthens the nervous system, making it more resilient to everyday stressors. Whether it's a 30-minute brisk walk, stretching, swimming, or dancing, moving your body each day signals to your mind that you are alive, capable, and adaptable. Consistent movement prepares you physically and emotionally to meet challenges with greater calm and endurance. Nutrition, too, quietly shapes emotional well-being. What you feed your body becomes the fuel for your mind. Diets high in processed sugars, artificial ingredients, and stimulants can spike anxiety, cause energy crashes, and cloud mental clarity. In contrast, a diet rich in fresh vegetables, fruits, lean proteins, healthy fats, and adequate hydration supports steady energy levels, clear thinking, and emotional balance. Simple changes, such as drinking more water, reducing caffeine after noon, and choosing whole foods over packaged ones, can significantly affect how calm or reactive you feel throughout the day. The examples of history reinforce this wisdom. John D. Rockefeller, one of the most powerful and scrutinized men of his time, deliberately adopted daily habits that protected his mental and physical health. Afternoon naps, long walks outdoors, and attention to balanced meals allowed him to sustain his composure even under tremendous pressure. He understood that leadership, at its core, requires physical stamina as much as mental discipline. Today, modern science confirms what leaders like Rockefeller practiced instinctively. Your physical habits directly influence your mental capacity. Chronic sleep deprivation, poor nutrition, and inactivity don't just impact physical health, they deteriorate emotional resilience, decision making, and patience. The good news: you don't need a complete life overhaul to see benefits. Small, consistent adjustments have profound cumulative effects. Start by committing to an earlier bedtime. Add 10 minutes of stretching or a morning walk. Replace a processed snack with a piece of fresh fruit. Each healthy choice strengthens the bridge between your body and mind, reinforcing your ability to remain calm, steady, and emotionally strong. Physical care is self-respect in action. It's a silent promise you make to yourself to show up each day, not depleted, but empowered, to face life's inevitable pressures not with panic, but with preparation. A strong body builds a resilient mind, and a resilient mind builds a life of strength, purpose, and lasting peace. Life's challenges are inevitable. Disappointments, setbacks, and unforeseen obstacles will cross everyone's path. But the way you experience those events, the emotions you feel, the actions you take, depends far less on the events themselves and far more on the perspective you choose to adopt. The ability to reframe challenges not as disasters, but as opportunities, is one of the greatest skills for cultivating lasting emotional stability. Perspective is powerful. Two people can face the same situation: losing a job, experiencing a health scare, encountering a personal betrayal, and yet respond in dramatically different ways. One crumbles under the weight of it, the other rises, seeing the difficulty as a call to evolve. What makes the difference? Not the size of the problem, but the lens through which it's viewed. When you encounter hardship, your first instinct may be fear, anger, or frustration. That's natural. But perspective invites a second, more powerful question. What opportunity is hidden inside this difficulty? This doesn't mean denying the pain or pretending everything is fine. It means refusing to let the pain blind you to the possibility for growth. Great leaders, inventors, and thinkers throughout history have understood this. Charles M. Schwab, for instance, faced countless financial panics during his career, yet he maintained remarkable composure by deliberately choosing to focus on potential gains hidden within crises. His consistent ability to see opportunity where others saw disaster allowed him not only to survive turbulent times, but to thrive. This skill of reframing doesn't happen by accident. It requires practice, daily, intentional practice. Start by noticing the language you use when problems arise. Instead of thinking, "This is the end," try asking, "What new beginning might this create?" Instead of focusing on loss, ask, "What might I gain from adapting to this?" Over time, this habit reshapes your emotional responses. You move from panic to curiosity, from despair to determination. Perspective also invites long-term thinking. In the heat of the moment, problems seem larger than life. But zooming out, imagining how the situation will look in 5 years, often softens the emotional sting. What feels unbearable today often becomes a pivotal turning point in hindsight. Developing the habit of stepping back, seeing the broader arc of your journey, restores calm and strengthens resilience. Reframing challenges as opportunities builds emotional flexibility. It prevents you from getting stuck in victimhood and empowers you to become an active participant in your own story. It helps you understand that failure is never final unless you decide it is. Temporary setbacks lose their power to define you because you have trained yourself to look for the seed of possibility hidden within every hardship. This mindset does not eliminate pain, but it transforms it. It turns suffering into strength, confusion into clarity, and obstacles into stepping stones. Each time you choose to shift your perspective, you reinforce emotional habits that protect you during future storms. Ultimately, mastering your perspective means mastering your power. It means reclaiming your ability to write your own interpretation of life's events, instead of allowing circumstances to dictate your emotional life. Challenges will come. That's a given. But how you choose to see them, that's where your freedom lies. Train your mind to look beyond the surface of problems. Find the lessons, the growth, and the new doors hidden inside each closed one. Do this consistently, and you will walk through life with a steady heart, a clear mind, and a spirit that no setback can defeat. In moments of pressure, chaos, or emotional intensity, the mind naturally defaults to its most familiar patterns. If those patterns are rooted in fear, impulsiveness, or panic, then that will be the automatic response. But if you have trained your mind in advance, preparing it with deliberate, focused mental rehearsal, you create a different default: composure. This is the power of strategic visualization. It is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools for building mental calm and emotional mastery. Visualization isn't wishful thinking, it's mental conditioning. When you vividly imagine yourself responding calmly and effectively to a challenge, your brain processes that experience almost as if it were real. Neural pathways are strengthened. Emotional associations are rewired. What once triggered fear begins to trigger focus. What once caused hesitation begins to summon confidence. Top athletes, leaders, and performers have long known this secret. Before stepping onto the field, into the boardroom, or onto the stage, they don't just practice physically, they practice mentally. They visualize every detail: their breathing steady, their posture strong, their words clear, their decisions decisive. This mental movie becomes a script that the mind can follow instinctively when the real pressure hits. You don't have to be an athlete or CEO to benefit. Anyone can use strategic visualization to prepare for life's challenges. Start by identifying situations that typically test your composure. It might be a difficult conversation, a high-pressure meeting, or a moment of unexpected bad news. In a quiet space, close your eyes and imagine yourself in that situation. See it vividly. Feel the emotions that might arise. And then rehearse, choosing calm. Visualize yourself breathing deeply, speaking clearly, acting with wisdom and patience. Picture obstacles arising and yourself handling them with grace. Feel your body relaxed yet alert. Engage all your senses. What do you see, hear, and feel as you maintain your center? The more vivid the visualization, the stronger the imprint it leaves on your nervous system. Consistency is key. Spend just 5 minutes a day practicing this mental rehearsal. Ideally, attach it to a regular routine: first thing in the morning, during a lunch break, or right before bed. Over time, your brain begins to recognize these imagined experiences as familiar. And when reality presents similar challenges, you will find yourself naturally responding with greater calm and confidence. Scientific research supports this process. Studies show that visualization activates many of the same brain regions as actual physical practice. This means that mental rehearsal isn't a substitute for action. It's preparation for better action. You're training yourself to default to strength rather than fear. Bobby Jones, the legendary golfer, once said he never hit a shot, even in practice, without first vividly seeing it in his mind. His success wasn't based purely on physical talent. It was the result of relentless mental preparation. Similarly, you can prepare your mind for success, calmness, and strength before the crucial moments arrive. Visualization is free. It requires no special equipment, just intention, consistency, and imagination. Yet its benefits ripple through every area of life. It allows you to walk into challenges not as a victim of emotion, but as the master of your inner world. Train your mind before life tests you. Rehearse your strength before you need it. Through strategic visualization, you are not only preparing for the storms, you're preparing to be the calm within them. In times of uncertainty, people instinctively look for stability. They seek out those who radiate confidence, clarity, and calm. True leadership, especially in moments of crisis, isn't about force or authority. It's about presence. The person who remains steady when others panic naturally rises to the role of leader, often without even speaking a word. Composure under pressure becomes not just a personal strength, but a beacon of strength for everyone around you. When storms come, most people react. They worry out loud. They rush decisions. They allow fear to dictate their actions. But the one who holds their ground, who speaks thoughtfully, who acts deliberately, this person commands silent respect. In families, businesses, and communities, calmness has a gravitational pull. It reassures, it refocuses, it stabilizes. History offers countless examples. Florence Nightingale, during the chaos of the Crimean War, brought order, healing, and hope, not through sheer authority, but through her composed, unwavering presence. Her calmness amidst horror gave courage to soldiers, inspired discipline in her team, and changed the future of medicine. People followed her not because she demanded it, but because she embodied the stability they craved. This same principle applies to everyday life, whether in a household during a family crisis, in a company facing economic downturn, or in a team handling unexpected setbacks. The one who remains calm becomes the anchor. Their emotional steadiness gives others permission to breathe, to think, and to act with greater clarity. Importantly, composure is not about suppressing emotion. It's not about pretending that fear or anger or sadness don't exist. It's about choosing to respond intentionally rather than reacting impulsively. It's about feeling those emotions and still leading yourself and others through them with grace and strength. This quality of presence can be developed, just like any other skill. It begins with the simple decision: I will not let external events dictate my internal state. When challenges arise, practice pausing. Take a breath. Remember who you are and who you aspire to be. Act from that deeper place, not from temporary emotions. With practice, your composure becomes a habit, and your presence becomes a gift to everyone you encounter. The ripple effect of calm leadership is powerful. When you remain steady, others feel safer. They can think more clearly because you model clarity. They can act more decisively because you demonstrate that fear is not in control. Your example shows that it's possible to be strong without being loud, decisive without being harsh, influential without being forceful. This influence is especially crucial in raising children, mentoring younger people, or guiding teams. People don't learn emotional regulation from lectures. They learn it by witnessing it in action. When they see you navigating tough moments with calm eyes, steady hands, and clear words, they internalize that model and begin to build it within themselves. Ultimately, composure is leadership without a title. You don't need a formal role to make an impact. You only need the discipline to master yourself. In a world that often rewards noise and speed, calmness is rare and therefore incredibly powerful. So when the next storm arrives, and it will, remember, your greatest influence isn't in what you control. It's in what you model. Choose to be the eye of the storm. Choose to lead by example. Your composure will become a lighthouse for others, guiding them not only through the immediate crisis, but toward greater strength within themselves. In a world filled with noise and constant pressure, the greatest power you can cultivate is inner calm. Mastering your mind is not about denying hardship. It's about choosing your response to it. Real strength lies not in reacting to every insult or setback, but in pausing, breathing, and responding with clarity and purpose. Daily habits like getting 7 to 8 hours of restful sleep, walking at least a mile each morning, and choosing nourishing foods can greatly improve emotional resilience. Equally important is the practice of strategic visualization, mentally rehearsing calm responses before life's challenges arise. By training yourself to stay composed, you not only protect your own peace, but become a source of stability for those around you. Remember, leadership is not about titles or noise. It's about presence. Every small, deliberate choice you make, to think clearly, to speak with kindness, to move with intention, builds a fortress of resilience within you. No matter your age, it's never too late to master your mind, strengthen your body, and live each day with calm purpose. True legacy is not measured in possessions, but in the strength, clarity, and peace you offer to the world.